Hey traders, in today's video, I'm going to reveal the best indicator for intraday trading. So if it's something you are interested in, kindly hit the like button. Also subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our new videos. So without further ado, let's get started. So most of us are familiar with the popular MACD indicator, and as we all know, it is one of the most famous and oldest indicators ever created and is widely used among beginners. However, what if I told you that there's actually a newer version of this indicator that is proven to be almost 3 times more profitable than the older version? And so follow me as I am going to show you what the indicator is and how it works. So first, I'm sure we are familiar with the mechanics of the classic MACD. It helps us identify potential trends by displaying crossovers between two lines. If the blue line crosses above the orange line, it shows us that the market is potentially bullish and that it would be a good buying opportunity. And if the blue line crosses below the orange line, it shows us that the market is potentially bearish and that it would be a good selling opportunity. Now, this may seem like a good and simple strategy. However, a common problem with the strategy is that it only works on trending markets. And as we all know, markets are not always trending. It can also move sideways or within a range like this, and because of that, the MACD indicator would perform terribly during this type of market. Like in this example here, we can see that the MACD is crossing upwards, which supposedly tells us that an uptrend is coming. However, because the market structure is moving sideways, it gave us a false signal, and the market did not go up as expected. Now, over time, these false signals could accumulate and slowly wipe out your profits, and could even bring your account towards the negative. So what if I told you that this new version of the MACD indicator could also help us identify trends and could also eliminate these false signals for us when the market is ranging, therefore minimizing your loss? So the indicator is called the Impulse MACD. Similar to the old MACD, the Impulse MACD is also a momentum indicator that could detect trends. However, it has its own unique feature. The difference is that unlike the normal MACD, which displays multiple false signals when the market is ranging, the Impulse MACD filters out these false signals and goes completely flat, as you can see here. And so because of this unique feature, you're now less likely to get trapped by these false signals. And now I'm going to show you exactly how to apply this indicator onto your chart, how it works, and the strategy that you can use to trade with it. So the first thing you want to do is apply the indicator onto your chart. Now, the charting platform that I'm using is called tradingview.com. Once you've opened it, you want to go to the indicator section and type in Impulse MACD, then choose the one by lazybear. Next, once you've applied the Impulse MACD, we want to change the appearance of the indicator so that it's simpler to look at. So to do that, you go to Settings, Style, and follow this exact preset that I created. And as you can see, the Impulse MACD now looks much more organized. Now let's take a look at each part of this indicator. So similar to the normal MACD, this indicator also has 4 components. First, we have this blue line called the Impulse MACD line. Next, we have this orange line called the signal line. Furthermore, we have the histogram, and finally, we have the middle line. Now, how do we use this indicator? So very similar to the normal MACD, the way we identify trends on the market is by looking at the crossover between the Impulse MACD line and the signal line. If the Impulse MACD line crosses above the signal line, it indicates that the momentum is going upwards. And if the Impulse MACD line crosses below the signal line, it indicates that the momentum is going downwards. However, if the two lines go flat like this, it indicates that the market is ranging or moving sideways, and you should avoid taking any positions. Now let's move on to the strategy that you can use with this indicator. So this strategy is a little bit more advanced, but it also has a higher win rate. It's called the Impulse MACD extension. So this is how you trade it. The first step is we need to manually add overbought and oversold levels on the indicator. So what you do is you drag your mouse above the middle line of the indicator and press Alt-H, or you can just add the lines manually using this horizontal line. So this will be your overbought line. For your oversold line, you do the exact same thing, but in the opposite value. So this time, drag your mouse below the middle line and again, press Alt-H. Now you have your oversold line. So the reason we apply these overbought and oversold levels to the indicator is because we want to make sure that we only take positions from crossovers that happen outside of these overbought or oversold levels, because this means that the price is overextended, and prices that are overextended will have a higher chance of making significant moves. Now, you might be wondering how I determine the exact placement of these lines. So here's how you do it. First, let's start with identifying the placement of our overbought line. So first, you want to zoom out. Now immediately, we can see that there are two types of crossovers that's happening. First are crossovers that happen further from the middle line, which are called the major crossovers. Next, we also have the smaller crossovers that are happening closer to the middle line, which are called the minor crossovers. Now, what you want to do is separate the major crossovers from the minor ones by drawing a horizontal line, and so the minor crossover should be contained below the line, and the major crossover should be contained above the line. Again, the reason for this is because we only want to take positions from these major crossovers and ignore the minor ones. And so, this will be your overbought line. Now, for your oversold line, you want to place it in the opposite of your overbought line. So since your overbought line is at this value, I'm going to place it at the negative of that value. And so this will be your overbought and oversold levels. Now keep in mind that these values are not fixed. You can always adjust these lines depending on the crossover placements and also the different market conditions. So if you want to use this indicator on another pair, you would need to adjust new overbought and oversold levels based on the market conditions of that pair. Now that your indicator is ready, here's how you treat the strategy. So first, for your buy signal, you want to only take positions if the impulse MACD line crosses over upwards, but the crossover needs to happen below the oversold line. Similarly, for your sell signal, you only take positions if the impulse MACD line crosses over downwards, but the crossover needs to happen above the overbought line. Remember, crossovers that happen between the lines like this will be ignored. This is because we want to make sure that we only take positions if the price is overextended. So let's look at a couple of examples. So in this setup, we spotted a crossover upwards on the MACD, while the crossover is happening below the oversold line, indicating that the price is on an upwards momentum while being oversold, so this will be a valid buy position. Next, for your risk management, you can set a stop loss below the nearest swing low and a profit target at 1.5 times your stop loss. And as you can see, this trade ended up being profitable. Let's look at another example. Here we spotted a crossover downwards on the impulse MACD. However, as you can see, this crossover happened inside the lines, meaning this signal will be ignored because you want to make sure that the price is overextended. Next, we spotted another crossover downwards, but this time it happened above the overbought line, meaning there's a downwards momentum while the price is overbought. So this will be a valid sell signal. Now for your stop loss, you can set it at the nearest swing high and set your profit target at 1.5 times your stop loss. And as you can see, this trade ended up being profitable. So that's all about trading with the Impulse MACD indicator. If there's anything you don't understand, feel free to ask me in the comments section, as I will try my best to attend to all the questions.